So now I'll be discussing about data coding scheme. So first, let's define its data coding scheme. So this scheme involves creating simple numerical or alphabetical codes to represent a complex economic phenomena that facilitates efficient data processing. So mas maintindihan pa natin siya if we compare a system with codes and a system without codes. So first, let's see the advantages of a system with codes. So on a system of codes, the codes concisely represent large amounts of complex information that would otherwise be unmanageable. So parang mas napapadali yung pagmamanage ng isang information if the system has the codes na nagre-represent sa data or information within the file. So second, it provides means of accountability over the completeness of the transaction process. So parang mas makikita kung sino yung accountable if a transaction is not complete dahil dun sa codes na naka-impose sa mga files and sa transactions. Then third, it identify unique transactions and accounts within a file. So if in case na magkakaroon ng similar information sa isang file, mas madali siyang ma-identify using the codes na ginamit sa transaction na yon. Then fourth, it supports the audit function by providing an effective audit trail. So mas mapapadali yung trabaho ng isang auditor if a system has codes. So while in a system without codes, parang may mga disadvantages tayong makikita. Like for example, it takes a great deal of recording space. So in a system na walang codes, kailangan mong isulat lahat, walang codes na pwedeng mag-represent doon sa transaction na yun. So mano-mano, dapat nakasulat lahat. Next, it's time consuming and it is prone to many errors. So since manual, since sinusulat, mas malaki yung chance na magkamali yung tao. For example, kunyari dapat imbes na 10,000 yung ma-record, pwedeng ma-record niya ng 100,000 which is a difference of 90,000. So pwedeng maging cost pa yun ng error. So now let's move on to the kinds of coding scheme. So there are 5 kinds of coding schemes discussed on the book. So first is the sequential code, which represents items in some sequential order. So it uses number either in ascending or descending order para kita yung codes in the transaction. Second is a block code or a variation of sequential coding that partly remedies the disadvantages of the latter. So dito sa block codes, mas specific, mas madaling makita kung saang transaction ba dapat or saang file ba dapat ilagay yung isang information na nagather ng isang company or entity. So third is the group codes, which is used to represent complex items or events involving 2 or more pieces of related data. So these kinds of codes, pinagsasama niya na yung 2 or more complex items into a single item. So using these codes, mas mapapadali yung paghahanap ng mga related data sa isang file. So fourth one is the alphabetic code, which use for many of the same purposes as numerical codes. So same lang siya as numerical codes, but in this kind of codes, we are using alphabets like A, B, C, either A to Z or Z to A, ganun. Then the fifth one is the mnemonic codes. It is an kind of alphabetic codes which uses acronyms and other combinations that conveys meanings. So gumagamit siya ng acronyms and combinations para malaman or mag-represent ng isang item or file sa isang database. So that's all about coding schemes.